Welcome to Chasing Fi. So today I am going to talk a little bit more about student loan redisclosure. Now, this is a new thing that I just found out about, and once I learned what exactly was going on, it gave me like the vocabulary that I needed to articulate what I believe has happened to my student loan account over the years. Now, quick disclaimer, because my lender actually gives me like no information on my account. Whenever I ask questions, they just deflect. They won't answer the questions that matter, pretty much. I am just digging in and looking at things and seeing what I can figure out based on what I think is going on. So here's what I did. I think I mentioned before that part of the reason that I filed a complaint last year is because I logged into my account one night and I could see that $20,000 worth of capitalization had been added to my account. And in addition to that, um, my account had been recalculated at the higher amount with the um, capitalization, which I could understand because it's a totally different loan by that time. You put $20,000 on something, it's totally different. But, and I honestly, my mindset was, initially I thought I was in the public service loan forgiveness program because I was a teacher. And then they said, oh no, you're not in that. You can't, your loan doesn't qualify for that, which wasn't true. I just needed to do a direct consolidation, but I didn't know that back then. And so then I just resigned to, I am paying every dollar of this loan because they won't let me in the income-based repayment plan. I don't care. I'm doing this. So what I did as soon as I had more money, which took a little while, but as soon as I could, I started paying double, triple, whatever I could. And during the pandemic, I was paying sometimes $6,000, $2,000, $3,000, whatever I could pay. So I really expected things to fall. And they did come down, but something was off with the daily interest. I couldn't calculate it properly according to what I was seeing in my account. So this was an issue. And I'm like, I couldn't figure out what was going on. And then when I saw the capitalization, I figured it had something to do with that. So I asked questions. I didn't get answers. I filed complaints. I was rerouted back to the service provider who basically told me, nothing's wrong. You just don't know how to do simple math, I guess. So, but I kept doing it and I was like, something is wrong. Okay. So I started digging in, and what I did was first I used an amortization table, which my service provider says they do not use. Um, and I created one in Excel as well because I don't just pay, one monthly installment. I pay throughout the month, or I was paying extra. So my payment amounts vary over time. So I created my own, but I also used an amortization table just to get an idea of what we're dealing with. So I plugged in the beginning principal of the loan, but I made sure to plug it in with all of the capitalization in it. So I have an unsubsidized and a subsidized loan. So I took the subsidized loan, plugged that in with the capitalization, took the unsubsidized loan, did the same thing. Now, the curious thing about that is they did not redisclose my loan at the full $114,000 that the capitalization had kicked it up to. Instead, they did it at $112,989. Now, why do I know that? The reason that I know that is because my payment was $555.35. And that's what it would be with a 360-month loan term. But then over time, the loan term has been changed, to 327 months. At one point, I think it was on the graduated plan, all this stuff. So I didn't even go back to count I didn't go through the section of my account where I was on the graduated plan because I know that was a different plan. And because I could not make the payment on the second step of the graduated plan, I was moved to a 360-month plan with a monthly payment of $555.35. So I decided to start from where that begins. And here is what I found. So, my original balance for my unsubsidized loan was $46,894. After capitalization was added to it, it became $59,269. So that's an extra $12,000, $375 added to the principal. So the lender rediscloses the loan at this point, and my interest rate is 3.88% or 3.375 with direct debit, which is what I have most of the time. New loan term is 360 months, and then the monthly installment payment should be $278.87. The total interest over the life of this loan would be $41,125.77. But the lender changes the monthly installment amount to $287.78. Now, normally this extra $9.81 would go to knocking down the principal faster and reducing the amount of interest paid over the life of the loan. This would reduce the interest by a couple $1,000, about almost $3,000. So it would take it down to $38,219.25. Okay, that'd be great, right? But that's not what my lender does with this money. Instead, that $9.81 is there to kind of play around, move it back and forth between the principal and the interest to try to balance things out, and also to knock out some of that capitalization. So that 981 is just like built in, it's sitting up there in the sky, and you can kind of play around with it however you want, month to month. Here's an example from my account. So when my balance was $55,602.71, the payment, remember, is $287.78. So the interest for that month would be $156.38. And then the principal would be $131.41. But what my account says is that month, $159.74 went to the interest and $128.04 went to the principal. So that's $3.36 that goes to interest instead of the principal. This is something that happens all throughout the account. And this is why I had so much trouble figuring out my daily interest, because it's not what it should be. It's being played around with. It's being changed to fit the lender's purposes. And by the way, this is the loan that had the least amount of issues. That's why I'm using it, because the subsidized loan is in such bad shape in terms of the payment history. It's going to take me a while to get through that. So if you want to find out if something like this is happening in your account, you need to find out your daily interest and then determine if there are points where the daily interest increases, like what's going on. So for example, one month my daily interest was $4.69. The next month it was $5.17. The excuse that the lender gave me was that, well, months have different days, which is exactly why we don't use an amortization table. But while that's true, we're not dealing with too many fluctuations when it comes to how many days are in a month. And this lender claims that if you pay your payment every 30 days, it should be about the same. So at this point, I was on direct debit and my payment was coming out 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. So why would the interest change this much? No answer for that from the lender. So here we go. Once I start making more payments, like I start paying $1,000 opposed to $555, the loan is redisclosed. Now, I don't know exactly when that happened, but I suspect it was in 2018 because I started making, like extra payments were consistent then. I don't know when this happened, but the new loan term had an end date of 2043. Now, I want you to keep that year in mind because I just received a new repayment plan on August 17th of 2022 in the middle of the direct consolidation that says that my monthly installment payment was changed from $555.35 to $341.91. And the new loan term starts when? August 2022, and it ends in 2043. Now, this is a little odd, right? What happened to all those other payments and the rest of the loan term that I was already on? No explanations for that. They just started a new loan. So, the more money that I paid, like the higher the payments, the more trouble my account got into because they would really play with the money then. And that's why, like, the subsidized loan is a nightmare. Um, I don't know why they were playing around so much with that, but I guess because it's subsidized, right? So the unsubsidized loan is a little bit cleaner than the subsidized loan. But basically, what they were doing, so for example, the interest the first month that I started paying $1,000 was $4.87 a day. By the third month, the daily interest was up to $4.99, and they were no longer putting $518.20 toward that payment. It was down to $510.10. So that other $820 was likely moved over to the other loan because that loan balance ended up being higher. Like I said, I don't know what they were doing there, but I haven't done the calculations yet, so I can't be sure. But the more money I paid, the more wiggle room the service provider had to shift the money around to reduce the amount applied to principal. Changing the monthly installment amount, even by a few dollars, will extend the life of the loan and cause you to pay more in interest over time. The monthly installment changed from for my subsidized loan, it changed from $286.58 to $267.57 once I started making larger payments. Also, $481.80 of the $1,000 was being applied to the subsidized loan for most of the time, but there are some months where only $449 was applied, or $469, or $489. Why? Because they're playing around in there with how much your monthly installment is. And like I said, they reduce the monthly installment. You think you're paying all this extra. You're not. Well, you are, but it's not being applied properly. So this is also fascinating to me. Sad, but fascinating. Each month, the loans can be redisclosed, and they can do it so that they make sure the monthly installment is less so that the loan lasts longer. And this is something that you will not catch if you are not paying close attention. Now, obviously, this big change that they just sent me, where the loan dropped over $200 is, like the monthly installment is huge. But like I said, my next monthly installment, according to them, was due in February 2026 before they changed the loan term, and it was for $83. So obviously there's a lot going on there. One of the things that happens is that because of the way they were applying these payments, the interest was actually going up in terms of the total interest that I'll pay over the loan. And so my extra payments weren't making the dent that I thought, because some of these payments are way in the future, right? So I can't see what they did to the payments in 2023. But I think it's safe to say that they did not apply the payments the way that they were supposed to be applied. So this is them just moving the goalposts, because once I said I was doing a direct consolidation, they waited until Nelnet was already consolidating the loan, like they're already in the process of doing it, and then they send me a new repayment term, which would only be for 1 month at the most with them because I was leaving. So I didn't understand this, and this was because I became more aggressive with my payments over the past couple of years, and they were not expecting me to leave, right? So they just left the account the way that it was. Although, I knew that it was wrong because I made all these huge payments. I knew it was wrong, but they would not audit it for me. They wouldn't look at it. They just made it sound like I was crazy. So then they sent me this new repayment term that's for 248 months. Now, the new repayment term cuts $213.44 off of what they said was, needed to pay off this loan with the loan term of 2043, right? So if we multiply that by 248 months, are we talking about $52,933 cut off the loan? I don't understand why the installment payment would go down. Why not just keep paying what you're paying and pay it off, right? No, because most of the money in what they want me to pay is just interest. It's not even the capitalization anymore. It's just interest. It's not the principal, and it's not the added capitalization to the principal. So let's look at the new monthly statement for my unsubsidized loan. So the new monthly installment is $154.94. The old monthly installment was $287.78. That's a difference of $132.84. So that means what? Over 248 months, we're looking at the difference. If we multiply that by 248, it's going to be $32,944. So then my total repayment amount, according to the service provider, would be $38,423. Somehow it was reduced from the $46,894 that it originally was. Now, how would that happen? And if it did happen, did you inform the new service provider that somehow over $8,000 had been chopped off the back end of the loan? No, of course not. They didn't inform them of that, but I did. So my last installment payment on the unsubsidized loan when I was on the 327-month payment plan was $69.94. If we take the capitalization into account, even with that, there's only $12,000 left on the loan. That amount, the $11,884, and I plugged it into a table to find out what the monthly payment would be. And it just happened to be $69.93 over 247 months, which would fit because the 248th month on my new payment plan has a slightly different installment amount. So, are we saying that we're going to spread $12,000 out over 20 years? Curious, right? So at this point, I have paid $49,788.11 on this loan. The original principal was $46,894. Now, of course, I recognize that I still have some to pay because of interest and things like that, and I have no problem paying that. But currently, the service provider is saying that I owe over $38,000, and that doesn't make any sense because the principal is so low. So this is why I ended up contacting, I went to studentaid.gov and looked up the phone number and called them, and they said, just sit back. We're handling this now. So I'm so glad that I did take the time to report it to them and to NailNet just to make sure everybody was on the same page, because after going on the Facebook page of my service provider, I was really upset that they weren't telling people the truth. And the truth of the matter is that if you have these FFELP loans that are serviced by a commercial lender and you want to take advantage of the income-based repayment audit or the public service loan forgiveness program or even the debt cancellation, you are going to have to move your loan. You're going to have to do the direct consolidation. And that may change over time for the debt cancellation, but to be honest, you don't even know what's there. So if you're with one of these commercial lenders, I highly recommend getting an audit, because if my account is audited, I don't think I need any forgiveness. I know that I can pay off what's left because it won't be much, but I need somebody to get in there and tell me exactly what's going on, because now that I know that the loan has been redisclosed several times and probably, most months, I need somebody to get in there and figure it out because I can't get all of the paperwork from the service provider. I've asked and they will not send it. So this is just an investigation. Obviously, I could be totally wrong about things. Maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist. But so far, the math is supporting the conspiracy theory that that my student loan service provider was just really extending this loan as much as possible with the capitalization, but also with redisclosures. And like I said, when I submitted the complaint to the Department of Education, they escalated it and they're dealing with it now. Yesterday, student loan service provider called me 7 times because I posted something on their Facebook page about how, it's really not fair for you to set up a new payment plan and roll a bunch of interest that I don't need to pay because I've been making extra payments into the new loan. And after I put that on their page, they started calling me. Now, mind you, I did call them back and then I got put on hold and nobody was available. So just I'm done dealing with them now. I'm going to let Nelnet and the Department of Education deal with it from here on out. But if you are having trouble with your student loan account, I do recommend that you go through and you do the math and you see what's going on. But you have to unfortunately go through the whole account because sometimes this is just a little tweak that they're doing day to day. They're like taking, 5 cents, putting it here or 10 cents, putting it there. So you really do. You need to go through the whole account and work it out because the math is not going to lie. All right. That's all for now. Hope it was helpful. Like I said, this is just an investigation. I'm not saying that I am 100% right about everything. I'm just saying ask questions if you're paying on a loan and things don't look right. All right, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you do this little experiment, let me know what you find. All right, I'll see you in the next one.